This is Red Moon role-playing.
Masks of Nyarlathotep. Our characters escaped the Juju house with a cultist in a crate. They wheeled him away, also with some relics salvaged from the basement, and while stopped by... well, let's call him a motivational speaker for the time being. It was due to Madeline's guile and savvy that you were able to bypass that particular obstacle. You took the cultist Barey back to Madeline's flat in Harlem for some kind of interrogation. You're not sure what at this stage because he has no tongue and one of his wrists is broken. But, with any luck, you'll be able to get something from him that affirms Jackson Elias's innocence and the guilt of the Cult of the Bloody Tongue. We return to the flat. Our investigators sat or standing around. It's been a long day and an even longer night. Rupert and Arturo, who had been asleep, are no longer. They're certainly not even bleary-eyed. There is a man laying on the bed. Blood has cascaded down from his mouth to coat his front from where his tongue was extracted. He is currently unconscious. The wadding that was stuffed in his mouth by Madeline did slow the bleeding, but it hasn't stopped it entirely. He's laid on his side, so the blood doesn't choke him to death while he's unconscious, but it's a pretty grim scene, all told. What are you going to do?
I suppose the first thing is to make sure that he doesn't die in Madeline's flat.
Yeah, that would be bad. Well, I've treated a few injuries, a few gunshot wounds.
What's happened to his mouth? I'm sorry to interrupt, Felix. But
I'll explain while...
Rupert puts a hand up. Who?
Pick one question.
There are many three-letter words with a question mark suffix that I could throw out right now. And maybe 5. But and he's left speechless. He's gesturing at Barey on the bed with both hands. Arturo puts his hand on Rupert's shoulder and gives him a short shake of the head as if to say, there's no point. I
will grab Rupert's other shoulder and kind of slowly pull him away, giving Felix room to work on Barey. And I'll say, there was someone who ripped his tongue out. They're part of a cult. It's quite a long story. I could give you a short version, which will answer none of your questions, or we could get him stable, and then I can tell you the whole story.
What was it? Was it one of you?
No, God, no. I may have shot him a bit, but no, we didn't pull his tongue out. He was trying to kill me.
Well, I'm obviously very glad that he didn't. I'm glad that all 3 of you are here, in one piece, it seems.
He is, we believe he is tied to the people that framed Elias. That is why he is here. He is betrayed by his master, and we're hoping that that is enough to convince him to repudiate his former affiliation and testify to the fact that Elias didn't do what he's proposed to have done. That's why he's here.
You know, I've only just woken up, and words like repudiate and affiliation, I think I'm going to need something a little stronger. And he sits down.
A thesaurus. I've told you, you should really invest in one.
He glares at you at that. Now, Felix, by all means, you can make a first aid roll here if you want to staunch the bleeding. It is pretty difficult to staunch the bleeding on a tongue wound for fairly obvious reasons. It's a generally wet area. It's not like you can just tourniquet it. But let's give it a go. A hard first aid roll, please.
If I help him, can I throw any percentage at him? If I bring him basins of warm water, clean gouges, anything that I have in the house?
Absolutely. If the both of you are helping out, let's bump it up to a regular first aid roll.
That's a 0-7. That is a then extreme success.
You don't just stop the bleeding, you are able to bring him back to a state of consciousness. And with it, his eyes once again fix with you, Felix. There is no love or gratitude in that look. He lets out a gargling sound and immediately tries to shove you away. He does not have the strength to do so unless you really lean into it, but I assume you step back.
Yes. I do.
Hey. I know it doesn't look like it, and I know you have no reason to believe us, but we're trying to help you. Okay, you're bleeding all over my bed. That's the bed I sleep in. So just settle down. The more you energize, the more that's going to bleed.
If we bring you something to write with, do you think we can communicate that way?
He doesn't nod, but you can certainly give it a go.
Then we'll hand him a notepad and a pen.
What he writes is a rather crude word. He tells you to fuck you, basically.
That was expected.
Okay.
And then jams the nib of the pen into the paper, splintering it. If he could adequately spit right now, you think he would do that as punctuation.
I looked to the other two, my idea having failed spectacularly.
Well, you have stopped him from dying. The question is, what on earth can you do to bring this man to a sense of, well, gratitude or generosity or basically onto your side? You are very much against it here.
Not being the sweetest of talkers, more of an intimidating presence, really. I looked to Madeline and to Shelby to see if one of them might be able to give Dari a good reason to, well, to support our cause. I mean, he was betrayed after all, wasn't he?
He was. Arguably could say he still is. I'm going to sit down at the edge of the bed, and there's just an internal awareness that Madeline doesn't, that I don't want to grapple with, but this pendulum can swing a couple different ways. If I can coax him, bait him, lure him, even lead him with some form of compassion, we may be able to turn him. And if not, I can also just leave Felix in a room with him alone and then just like shut my ears off and hope for the best. And the fact that I'm okay with setting Felix up in a situation like that is something that really weighs on me, but that's something that's a bridge that I will cross later. I'm going to sit down at the edge of the bed. We didn't pull your tongue out. That was Kwame. We brought you into our home, and we stopped you from dying. So sure, fuck us, I guess. But we're the ones that's actually exerting an effort to make sure that you see tomorrow. Do you want to try this again?
You see him trying to flex the fingers on his right hand. They are not moving. He sneers, looks back at his left, the only digits with which he has adequate motion right now, and he raises them. He raises his hand in a clutched motion, close to you, close to your neck, not close enough to touch. You're not near enough to him for him to do that. But he gestures. Could I ask you to make a power roll?
I just hit another 97. What I'm just going to do is use the damn 1 point of luck to reroll it. What does that brings my luck down to a 5. That's good for everyone. I made it. Hard success.
I'm very glad you did. Because you feel a sudden shortening of breath. You actually feel your windpipe seal shut. It just collapses. And your neck starts to bruise around both sides, where he is gripping the air. The clutch of Nyarlathotep starts restricting the airways and the arteries in your throat. It is all you can do to scrabble away, and his strength is not sufficient, his magical power is not sufficient, that he can actually act upon this and carry out the full deal. But no, you are able to get past it. You are able to escape it, and he falls back. His hand drops again.
I'm going to jump off the bed and start clutching at my throat. Ah! Ah! Whew. Okay. And I'm just going to look at Felix and I'm going to walk out.
What? Did he just...
Yeah, that's exactly what he did.
Did he just choke you? It didn't look like he touched you. It's all right. Rupert pats you on the back and takes you outside for some fresh air. Arturo looks to you two, Felix and Shelby. This man, he says, gesturing at the barely conscious Umdari, who, to your medical credit, Felix, has indeed stopped bleeding at this point. He cannot talk. He will not write. I do not think he is necessarily happy to be alive.
That does make it difficult. I could make him talk by appealing to his sense of self-preservation, but if he has none, well, that might be difficult.
What is in the package, he says, gesturing at the leopard skin that you have got, Shelby. The various things you extracted from the basement.
Hearing that, I begin backing away a little bit.
There was a mask. I think it's something to do with their cult. And I just pull it out and I show it to him.
That is, well, you recall my saying about this bloody tongue, he says, and he basically flicks the mummified tongue. At which point Umdari sits up again. This has pissed him off to see his cult's artifacts. And in fact, make a psychology roll right now, Felix and Shelby.
0 to on psychology. That is very, very good. The critical success.
That's extreme. Yes, indeed. You are not going to get better success than that, really.
I got 16 over 13, so I fail, but I will leave it as such then.
Yeah, you can still tick it, don't worry. Okay, Shelby. There is something that occurs to you as you hold this mask up, and as Arturo flicks the tongue, rather absently. The mask, and it's more of a cinematic moment, shall we say, than a feat of detective logic, but it's the way everything lines up, from your eye to the mask, to where Mukunga Umdari is currently sat up on the bed. The mask fits him perfectly. The shape of it is shaped to his head. And there is something more, the anger with which he is addressing you, as much as he can address anyone right now. He's spitting and rasping at you. You don't think he's just some low-level functionary in this cult. He just cast a spell without even being able to verbalize it. This man is looking at you and all these things, the book that you've got there, the mask, the various other bits and pieces that you extracted from the store, as if you have violated his personal sanctum. And Kwani was a part of the puzzle. Umdari is the one in charge. Now, that says something for Nkwani's opportunism, shall we say. Ripping out Umdari's tongue. Maybe that is something you can play on. But Umdari is most certainly the magician here behind the curtain.
So I look at the mask and Arturo's kind of playing with it and I see that reaction. And for a moment, time slows as all of these pieces start to click into place. There's a long moment as Shelby's staring at Umdari, and then Shelby smiles slightly, and he says, "We've been playing this all wrong." Staring directly at Umdari. Hold the mask in front of him. We could do this one of two ways. because I've realized something. The other mask I found was upstairs. This was in the basement, where all the items of power were. It's about the same size as you, and you're a very large man. And your subordinate tried to kill you. You help us pin all of this on Nkwame and get Elias free? You can get this mask back. Or we hand you over to the cops. And everything, your entire cult, gets obliterated when Harlem finds out what you've been doing.
His entire torso, from the shoulders down, is rising and falling with every breath. His face is obviously a complete state, a wreck right now. The blood that is caked around his mouth, over his nose, down his chin and neck make for a bizarre scene. But right now, for the first time since recovering him, his lips are shut. This is no doubt causing him a great deal of pain to fix his jaw in this way. And there are tears in his eyes, which is perhaps a strange thing to see from a high priest. Likely not out of sadness, but the immense pain that he is in right now. Necessary for him to set his jaw and consider what you are saying. There isn't a curiosity about the way he is looking at you. It is a barely contained rage. And you can see him looking down at that still active hand. It's twitching, almost absently, like he has no real control over it. His fingers are flexing. He has his forefinger out, pointed in your direction. He cocks his head slightly, looks down at it, looks up at you, is sizing you up, maybe for a coffin. And then he splays his full set of fingers again, maybe deciding against what he had planned. He grabs the notepad and with the broken fountain pen, he starts scratching out a response. It's in bad handwriting, it must be said, but you can still understand it. And he writes, "There are 30 of us. How many of you are there?" And tosses the notepad at you. This might be an attempt at intimidation. Maybe it's an attempt at bargaining. You don't know. But maybe he's just trying to size you up.
Shelby looks around. And he looks around and he goes, "You're right. There's only 5 of us here. 1 more in jail. 6. And yet, I killed your second in command. I knocked you out. I killed that creature that your subordinate summoned. And all 3 of us are still here, and I'm still able to talk. I would put Madeline up against 100 of you, 1,000 of you. She is more of a human than any of you."
And I'll stand up next to Shelby, trying to look big and intimidating.
I mean, it's always good to have some visual reinforcement. And he looks between the both of you. Rupert re-enters, leading Madeline back in now that you've caught your breath. There seems to be a dialogue taking place down here. There aren't the sounds of screams or the whirring of equipment. And there's a slight sneer, as much as Mukunga and Dari can express. He reaches for the notepad again to continue writing. And he scratches out, "Pass me the mask, and I will speak to you properly."
I would love a psychology check, please.
By all means.
I hit a 65 over 45. I am actually going to spend the luck. It is a 44 under 45. So as my eyes fall over the "hand me the mask and I'll speak to you," there's a part of me on the surface that somehow that makes sense. I don't know if my nervous system or my comprehension or the way I relate to what's happening to us that just Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, we give him the mask, and of course he's going to be able to speak to us. It'll be either telepathic or it'll be audible. Of course the mask. And then the thought hits me like, wait, he can cast without the mask. What can he do with the mask? Is it dangerous for us to give him this artifact, this relic? And that's what I'm trying to identify. Is he trying to play us?
Maybe for the first time you feel like a person you've met in New York is being straight with you.
I'm going to look at this gentleman. I'm going to look to Shelby, and I'm just going to give a double nod.
I'll shrug back, and I'll hand over the mask.
With his one good hand, he yanks it down over his head. The cloth adhering to his face tightly. The tongue hanging down to where his Adam's apple bobs up and down. And a low begins. The tongue starts flexing. The mummified tongue flexes, it rolls, it unrolls. It twitches as if sensing the air around it, and then blooming out from the top of the mask, from the top of this man's head, appear another 4 heads, looking in 4 separate directions, 1 toward you, 2 on either side, 1 behind. This is deeply horrifying. Make a sanity check, each of you.
93, I failed.
79 over 60, failure.
0,385.
Okay, those of you who failed, make a 1d4 plus 1. Bizarrely, what Mdari is doing isn't with the intention of harming you. This is just the effect of the mask.
I ate my full 5 on that one.
I lost 3.
You tell me then how that sanity loss affects both of you, physically, mentally, what you're seeing here.
For me, I mean, this is the thing that was rolled into that leopard skin, right? The thing that gave me the heebie-jeebies already back at the Juju house. So, I think having just stood up next to Shelby, looking big and intimidating, I sort of fade away into the back again, trying to get as much distance as possible to that mask.
Felix fades away, and I think Madeline is drawn forward. I'd already pre-reconciled that, of course, if we give him the mask, of course he's going to be able to speak. So I think my insanity is going to manifest in pure fascination, which is going to be me slowly approaching, sitting way too close to him on the bed with, like, over comfort, with, like, my knee drawn up, and I'm just getting close to witness, to behold, to bear witness to what's in front of me.
Yeah, this kind of alien curiosity. It will one day be the end of you, Madeline, but for now you just want to touch it, you want to sense it, you want to know what this magic is. By all means, any one of you present can choose to make a Cthulhu mythos roll, or if you would prefer, an archaeology or anthropology roll. It is up to you. You don't need to, but you can if you wish.
I've got 10%, why not? I'm going to guess a critical failure on a Cthulhu mythos roll is probably bad?
I would suggest so, yes.
You know what? I think I have enough luck. I think I'd rather just drop it to a standard failure.
Anyone else want to give this a try?
I can. Well, it is a failure. 33 over 5.
Okay. Well, that's fine. All it means is you do not recognize the faces. And Madeline, is your curiosity compelling you to make a Cthulhu mythos roll?
It did, and it does, and I failed. 64 over, I think, just 5.
Well, that's absolutely fine. Each of you gains a whopping great 1 point in Cthulhu mythos. And now 4 voices emerge. Interesting, they say. Interesting mortals. Intriguing. Intrepid. Inquisitive. Interlopers. Having exercised all words beginning with int, the voices halt briefly. Your offer is acceptable. But when you make a pact, mortals, breaking that pact will spell your doom. Your expectation as humans will be that when a pact is broken, You have time, resources, energy, money, friends, associates, knowledge that will stave off the doom. That you will be able to outrun it. That you will be able to alter your fate. That is not so. You will uphold your side of the bargain. We will uphold ours. And we will forget about each other. But if you break your side of the bargain, your doom will come immediately. 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 Do you agree to the pact that the traitor Nkwani will have the blame laid upon him, that our priest Umdari will be absolved and set free, and all belongings returned, all relics, all stolen apparatus?
I would impose a condition.
Impetuous, mortal. Bold, reaching. Admirable. What condition?
Some of the items that we've acquired may be required to be kept as evidence to assure Eliza's freedom. I cannot agree that will be returned to you if they are put into the legal system and outside of my hands. I do not intend the mystical artifacts to be presented as evidence. I don't think the mortals will even understand it as evidence. However, things such as the notebook are going to be of less consideration, I feel, for your long-term plans.
The ledger is immaterial. The mask, that will be retained by Umdari.
That's fine.
The book will be retained by Umdari. The robe will be retained by Umdari. The rest, let the mortals see it. Let their eyes widen. Let their minds explode.
I will look to my friends and put my hands flat in front of them, bouncing up and down in a kind of weighing motion. See what their thoughts are.
I'll do a careful nod. It's not an amazing deal, but we do need to get Jackson Elias out of this. And, well, perhaps enlisting their support, his support like this, perhaps that is the way to go. So I'll just nod carefully, and I'll look to Madeline.
I am hyper-focused on this mask, this wagging tongue, the entire presentation of it. There's a majesty to the way that this thing is speaking. I want to know its name. I want to know how old it is. I want to know what it wants. I want to know what those feathers are. I have so many questions, and just being in this proximity, that unbridled curiosity is just... it has me captivated. And I'm able to break away, at least for a moment, to look at my friends. The individuals in this situation that are mundane and simultaneously grounding. I nod twice. Let's get his attorney down here. If he's prepared to lay everything on Nkwame, let's make it an official statement. And then I almost stop. It's like, wait, no, are we actually bringing the attorney into the mask with the flapping tongue? And it's just one of those things where, like, it seems like the worst idea possible, but it also seems like the most direct path to exonerating Jackson.
Umdari will play his part.
I will give over the robe. I'll say, the book will come once this is complete.
Agreed.
I spit in my right hand and offer it to him.
The masked face looks down blankly at your hand. Such a petty human gesture. The pact was agreed the moment you spoke it. No handshake is required. You are already bound.
I shrug and wipe my hand on his shirt. That's for choking my friend.
We will return to 0. Shelby Shattuck, 0. Once this is done, our relationship, our interest in you, in your friends, in Jackson Elias, it will all return to zero. What you do from there, how you choose to interfere, whether you choose to rest and think better of this, is your choice and your destiny.
I believe our destiny takes us far from New York and perhaps closer to you. Who knows? But I agree. After all this is done, we are both at zero.
Barey slowly pulls the mask from his head. It again affixes and adheres as he pulls upward. But with the mask removed, he looks like a different person. Quite literally, his face has changed. He looks scared. He has less mass. In fact, his body appears to be altering as well. He is shriveling, but not lethally so. He is growing smaller, aging, and before you know it, he physically resembles Silas and Kwani. I'm not going to demand another sanity roll because you've already been through a lot. But this is beyond anything. Well, is it beyond anything you've witnessed at this point? Probably not, but this is just another miracle on top of miracles. Rupert and Arturo are gobsmacked. They've heard these voices, they've seen this magic, they don't know what to think, what to do with themselves, and out from the mouth of this new Nkwani come the words, I am prepared to make my confession.
I blink at that.
Oh, wow.
Rupert, call the lawyer.
What?
Carlton Ramsey, the number is on the refrigerator. Call him. Go upstairs and call him now. Tell him it's urgent.
I don't know how to use a bloody phone in this place.
There's a girl that will teach you how to do it. It's fine.
He staggers out, basically staring at his hands. What's going on? What did he just witness? He can't explain it. And Arturo very swiftly follows after him, worried that he's going to faint. I need to confess it all, says Silas Nkwani. I need to speak the truth of all of it. All of it.
Okay.
And over the next few hours, Carlton Ramsey, of course, arrives. He has many questions. He wants to know where all this blood came from. He wants to know who this man is. He wants to know everything. Because of course he does. He's the lawyer. He can't just accept it all at face value. But Nkwani tells a very compelling tale. He explains how he has been picking off black men, usually black men without attachments, and occasionally white men with interest in the local socialist Black New Yorker committee, who he's been accessing through the group that follows King David. He is very quick to clear anyone else of this wrongdoing. He makes it absolutely abundantly clear that no one else was involved, that this was all his doing, that he had a mental break, that he was in communion with the devil at the time. The devil was telling him to do it. Some black, African, native, tribal, and he uses all kinds of loaded words, the kinds of things the newspaper is going to lap up. It all feeds into an exoticized press release. The sort of thing that's going to make the locals in New York think, yeah, these people are dangerous, coming here with their violent religions of sacrifice, but by God, it's compelling. And Carlton Ramsey, who you met, of course, you met at Sing Sing, Madeline, and he was a perfectly reasonable man. Even he's disgusted by this confession. He's noting down. He's, of course, trying to get everything clear, and he wants to know why was Jackson Elias implicated in all of this? Why him? And then Kwani says because he travels, because he has no attachments, because he has no roots, because we didn't think anyone would miss him. And he corrects himself, because I didn't think anyone would miss him. Because he came to my store and I realised he had no friends. And I thought he would be the perfect scapegoat, a man of 100 cultures and no set culture. A man who has travelled the world, who has picked up all kinds of exotic beliefs. He made the perfect killer. But now the devil is gone. He has left me. And it's time for me to confess. Carlton Ramsay takes you all out of the flat, leaving Nkwani, as it were, in there on the bed. Well, this is, fantastic. I mean, in all senses of the word. I mean, this is fantastic, right?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yeah. This might just be enough, right?
Well, I mean, right now, if we can get to his store, the place he was running, and if there's evidence there that he was behind all kinds of killings, then, yeah, I mean, there might be someone might, if there's a vested interest in it, might still try attaching Mr. Elias to all of what was going on. They might try saying this Nkwani was just trying to clear his friend or accomplice, or he might be a lunatic. But again, if we find evidence at this Juju House antique store that there's that Nkwani's the killer and the proprietor, then I don't know. I don't know what they could hold Jackson on at that point, other than proximity to a body at the hotel.
I pull out the ledger and hand it to him. This is something we found in his office, and I'll flip it open and point to one of the WF-14 entries. This may also implicate the police, or at least a faction of the police, in helping to cover this up.
Captain Foster, 14th Precinct.
Okay, this is something. Though we ought to be careful. I mean, this is a different case entirely.
I understand, but you mentioned someone may try to pressure you. I want to make sure you have something to help you with that.
Well, yeah, what I'm thinking is, yeah, can I be candid with the three of you right now?
With Jackson's life on the line, please.
Pursuing a corruption case against the NYPD is a road to nothing. They either handle this internally or someone gets gunned down in the street, if you pardon my honesty about all of this. Okay. So I'm not going to be trying to start a case of pressing charges against this Captain Foster based on initials and ledger. That ain't to say none of it's true.
Sure.
But what it is, as you say, he might try pressuring us. Now we got something to use to pressure him, to stop him from interfering, to say, look, we don't want to make things awkward for you. You get the idea. And then we just leave this with someone trustworthy. If they want to follow it up, then God bless, that's on them. That ain't me backing away from a good fight. I don't mind a good fight, but I'm just saying that there are some fights. Right now we need to concentrate on getting Jackson out of Sing Sing.
Agreed. I only handed it over because I wanted to see if it helped you get that done. And if it's not going to help you, or if it's going to make things harder, then I'll hold on to it. We have other options we can look into to make sure that Elias doesn't trip and have an accident on the way out of the Sing Sing.
Yeah. Let's hold on to it for now. I'm not saying it couldn't come in useful, us wafting it on the Foster's nose and say, listen, you don't want to get involved in this, my friend. But for all we know, it might antagonize him. So let's hold it back. And with the depth of what this Silas fella's telling us, if there's the physical evidence to go with it, I mean, we ain't gonna need to apply pressure on the cops at this point. It's, but I need to get in touch with some people I know then at the precinct, and I'll handle it from here. I'll give you a call as soon as I know what's what with with Mr. Elias. But this is good news. This is good news. Obviously, there'll be some cops around to put this Mr. Inquani in cuffs. Now, don't rate his chances on the inside.
My arms are clasped around my chest and my fingernails are digging just underneath my elbows almost nervously. And I'm going to, in open transparency of the attorney, I'm going to look to Felix and Shelby. Are we really sending people back into that shop?
You might not have a choice.
If police go into that shop, if investigators go in that shop and something happens, anything that happens will just strengthen our case. I know it's terrifying, but that just reinforces Elias's innocence. And they now know it's there. They know what to expect. Well, maybe not exactly what to expect. They know something is there. They'll go in, they'll be careful. They'll be protecting themselves and each other.
Yes. That's what we'll have to hope for.
Shelby, we had a glimpse, just a glimpse of what we were walking into, and look what we experienced last night. You want to send people in there blind? What are they going to make of the... And I just stop. Because I don't really have a case to stand on here other than potentially marching people into their own insanity or their own horrors. And I don't know where that moving target or where that line or morality is between sending people to psychological slaughter or potentially actual slaughter if they start raising levers or listen to the... or where that aligns with freeing Jackson. I don't know, and I'm too exhausted to actually think through with any clarity.
I grab your shoulders. Hey, listen to me, okay? I understand. I know your concerns, but that's now a crime scene. That changes everything. They may not understand absolutely everything that's going on. That's why they're going to investigate. But they're going to be on their guard. They're going to be careful. There's not going to be a couple of people walking in by themselves with people waiting for them. And if you want, we can go with them. I don't know if that's going to be a good idea, but in terms of from a legal perspective, but I mean, we can go with them. I can go with them. I turn to Felix. I can go with them.
Okay. All right. Okay, Shelby. And I force a smile. It's a really pretty smile.
I need you to do something for me, though. Okay? I need you to focus on something else for me.
Okay.
I give you the ledger. I need you to figure out the best place to fire this gun.
I nod and I'm going to pull the ledger to my chest. Okay. I'll get to work on it.
Okay.
Well, what follows in the morning is a lot of exhaustion. Each of our characters has now been up for a very long time. But also a flurry of activity. The cops, of course, do take an immediate interest in this, and they arrive in short order to pick up Silas and Kwani, who gives you, all three of you, a look before disappearing, which is knowing, even with a slight smile. But then he's gone. He's bundled off into a wagon, driven away. But it is in the quiet time after, and it's only about an hour and a half or so before the cops are in touch again, but it's in that quiet time that Carlton Ramsey gets in touch with you. Your phone keeps ringing, your neighbours are complaining, and it is Ramsey who is calling again, much as you just suggested, Eddy. I think it would be a good idea if one of you accompanied the cops. They're going to raid in Kwani's store. You're not going to be on the front line or nothing, but they're going to have some questions for why he came to you in particular about this. And I suggested that you know something about the site, that you were in the store before. You might be able to point out anything that's out of place, that kind of thing. So I'm just suggesting one, maybe two of you go along. Don't make a big party of it. Be there to help the police with their job. And you never know, they might get this sewed up by lunchtime.
Okay. I, again, look to my friends. Do either of you want to go back to that?
I don't.
Okay.
But, and I look to Madeline. But perhaps I should, or?
No, it's okay. I'll go.
All right.
Okay.
It's all right, Felix. We'll look after you.
Exactly. Yes, so you and Rupert keep an eye on each other.
Yeah.
And maybe you could fill Rupert in on what happened.
Yes, maybe you can explain to me all of that.
Yeah, I'll help you clean up in here as well. It's gone all bloody.
Yes, less than I remember there being when he arrived.
Strange that.
And so, we continue in montage, because Madeline and Shelby, you go back to the Juju house with the cops. You recognise Lieutenant Poole there, though while he tips his hat to you, he does not engage with you directly.
Smart.
He did tell you the last time you spoke that you probably shouldn't be speaking to each other. And it does seem he is leading this case again.
Oh, good.
Oh, good.
That's a relief and a half.
At least he's the man on the scene. It's quite possible if Captain Foster is aware of all of this going on, and it seems unbelievable that he wouldn't be, that he is distancing himself from it. Just in case there is something found, who knows? It's very likely he has some boys in blue who will clear up after him if there happens to be, I don't know, a ledger with his name in it on the scene. But things here have changed. For one, the body of Silas and Kwani isn't there in the store, with a broken neck from where the hunting horror snapped his spine. That's hardly surprising, given that they've just arrested Silas and Kwani. What's more, while you look around and the cops examine things, some of them making rather crude remarks about the art and apparel in this place, you can see bits and pieces, some curiosities they're missing. There's still the sign of conflict. The fact that the hunting horror tore through this place, it does look like there's been a riot in this confined space. But it's when one of the cops calls out, "LT! There's a trap door back here." And they start trudging downstairs. Here's where you notice the greatest difference. Well, there's no hunting horror. And while there most certainly is a pit down here that was until recently plugged, the plug has been lifted, the weight has been hoisted into the air by the crank. Someone has operated it. And immediately cops are covering their noses and mouths with, "Jesus, it stinks down here!" Switching on flashlights, taking in the scene. Some of the mummified bodies that Felix dispatched are still laying around. But not all of them. It would appear that a couple of them have ended up down the pit. Whatever was down there, whatever was babbling and chanting and getting into Felix's head, isn't there anymore. Someone has extracted it, removed it, managed to relocate it. And as you're able to observe from a distance, Shelby and Madeline, any artifacts that you might have recognised as important to this cult are gone. In the 4 or 5 hours between you contacting Carlton Ramsey first of all, or making your pact more appropriately, and the cops finally showing up to investigate this place, well, if there are 30 of them, maybe 28 of them have been busy.
Yeah, clearly.
Mm-hmm.
And so we return to conclude our session. Back with Felix. There is a knock on the flat door. Oh, maybe they're back already.
Huh, that's quick. I'm a little bit suspicious at that. That's too quick. I'll take up position close to the door then as Rupert goes to open it.
Rupert turns the handle, opens the door. Mukunga Mdari is stood there. He is no longer lacking his tongue. He is once again broad, muscular, tall, dressed in finer clothing than he was in his bloodied rags last night. "I believe you have some things that belong to me. My mask, my cloak, my book."
Yes, of course. They're right here.
"Put them in my hands."
And I don't really want to touch it, but I don't see that I have much of a choice here. I am very afraid in this moment. I will move to do as he says.
Rupert is examining Mukunga Mdari in the doorway. I'm sure you hear this all the time, but you've got... Do I know you from somewhere? Mdari looks down at Rupert in more ways than one. Best to not know me from anywhere. And he takes his belongings from Felix with a snatch. Back to 0.
Back to 0, as agreed. I hope we don't meet again. For both our sakes.
And he rasps as he trudges back up the steps, back up to the streets of Harlem. And that is where we shall end our session of Masks of Nyarlathotep.
You have listened to an episode of Red Moon Roleplaying, where we play Masks of Nyarlathotep for Chaosium's Call of Cthulhu 7th edition. Joining us as our keeper is none other than our dear friend Matthew Dawkins, and we were also joined by Bridgett Jeffries and Eddy Webb. The music was made by Ager Sonus and Halgrath, and we've also used Cryochamber's Lovecraftian compilation albums. All of this with the permission of Cryochamber. Check out their website at cryochamber.bandcamp.com or their YouTube channel for some moody dark ambient for your gaming table. We would like to give massive thanks to our champions of the Red Moon: Martin Heuschober, Simon Cooper, Julia, Camilla, Bob Lange, Cameron, Graham Barey, Doug Thomson, Lily, Maciej, Black Templar, Dennis Sadecki, and Leonhardt for their generous support. We would of course also like to thank all of our other patrons. Without your support, this show would not be possible. If you want to support our work, please check us out on Patreon. You can get access to bonus campaigns for Cult of the Lost, Call of Cthulhu, Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay, and Warhammer 40k Imperium Maledictum there. And you can also get early and raw access to all of our recordings, and hear your name read on the show as a champion of the Red Moon, as well as even play some Cult with us. Most importantly, that support is what keeps the show going, so do check us out there. Thank you again for listening, and remember, I am the last. I will tell the audient void.